This saying what is here. I'm doing part actually the redo because that one I did was not good enough. I should say. I should put it. Also sorry for not uploading because I already said I was gonna have like 2 days a week, but never followed the schedule and didn't upload because I was lazy. Anyways, so we're gonna do the redo. I'm gonna try to make this one long enough to probably cover the whole of USJ or probably go to training camp. Depends on how long I can make it. So we start off with Izuku. We start off with a 4-year-old Izuku at the court doctor about to find out what is his quirk. The doctor took some blood tests, and when he returned, he had a face of disappointment. He then goes to Inko. Hold on, guys. Alright, I'm back. So he went to Inko to report and tell her what he has to say. This is the same court that this is the same doctor from Kenin, but this I'm pretty sure that doctor was working with Izuku, even though there was theory going on that says it. So until the show has come out and I find out the truth, then yeah, okay. So this doctor is working with All For One. The doctor told him that the doctor see that Izuku actually has a powerful quirk. It was a pyrokinesis. It was way more powerful than any other pyrokinesis. This one almost has no limits. The downfall of the quirk is not that dramatic. It just take up bits of stamina, but the heat and everything is immense. It's very hot. On top of that, the flames are blue fire. So, and he sees that he can control any form of fire, no matter what type of fire it is. So that's why the doctor took his quirk, and he returned telling Inko that Izuku is actually quirkless. Izuku's face went pale due to shock. He sits there and drops his arm and tongue with shock on his face. Inko, let's clarify something. Inko will not be the best mom, but yeah, she will regret it sooner or later. But she's not gonna kick him out. So yeah, so we keep going on. So Inko looked at Izuku with a disgusted look, while Izuku is still in shock, not being able to move due to how he feels. The doctor looks over to Izuku and says, "Kid, I'm very sorry. What do you want to become in the future if you did have a quirk?" Izuku says, he just sits there still in shock, not being able to answer. He turns his mouth and says, "Well, Miss Inko, what did this son want to be again?" Because I think he's still in shock. He says he wanted to be a hero, just like All Might. That's why he had the All Might figure. The doctor says, "Figures much." They went. Then Inko says, "Thank you, doctor," and she takes Izuku, grabbing his hand very violently, and start dragging Izuku out. Izuku, still in shock, didn't really feel the pain, what he was going through. Inko took him and threw him into the car and drove off. They reach home to where Inko grabs Izuku and throws him against the wall and says, "From the day you were born, all you did was cause bad luck. One day in the future, your relationship will be bad luck. Your relationship will be destroyed. if you even become a hero, you would just destroy this. You would destroy your own career. You are pure by luck. One of the devil blessed me with you, the child, because you're just pure by luck. Now, as you entered my life, I lose my husband, the one I loved dear the most. He left me because I was pregnant with you. Now, I was treating you good, and now, when all of this is finished, when I was able to find out what is your quirk, he turned out to be quirkless. You end up being useless. You're nothing to me now. I should kick you out of this house, but don't really see the point of you. Might as well make you stay here since you're like 4 years old. So it's a good life for the girl up. It's really sad. He gets abused. He even tell Bakugo about this. Bakugo laughs at him, telling him that you're now useless. You're like a deku. Hold on, guys. He says you're like a deku now. You're practically useless. He calls his goons over and he tells them, guys, Izuku, he says Izuku is quirkless. And they all laughed at him and then he says, well, it better give you a new name. Huh. What about Deku? If I did say he got it like a minute ago, sorry about that. He says, you're more like a Deku. And the goons are laughing and says, good one, Bakugo. Now, we gotta teach us Deku a lesson. So they basically beat Deku, and after some time, Deku goes home. We time skip to when Izuku is 10 years old. He's getting way more bullied. Bakugo and his goons know that Deku is being abused. Mitsuki also knows. But every time Mitsuki comes over, Mitsuki also bullies Deku. Beating him up, uses a quirk on him. Deku felt like no one loved him anymore. So, on the last day, everything went down the same way, where Bakugo approaches him, but this time taking away the book and blowing it up. He took the book, blew it up. This time he didn't leave nothing that remained. He burned it to basically blow it up to crisp, unable to see what is inside. Threw it outside and then launches an explosion at Deku. A powerful explosion that probably could kill him. But the thing is, Deku got, due to all this bullying, abuse, he got what's this called again? Basically, he's immune to pain. But I paid from Naruto. Alright, so he says, why I want you to unapply for UA. And why would UA accept you? You are quirkless. You're a loser. You're nobody. Sorry. It says you're useless. You're quirkless. If you get into UA, all you do is drag everyone down with you. So my advice to you is unapply from UA and take a swim dive off the top of this roof, off the top of a roof, and pray in the next life you get a quirk. Which Deku thinks, saying, if you want to be a hero, why are you acting like this? And he leaves. He just goes straight home. This time Deku didn't go underneath the tunnel. You know what? Yes, he did. He goes through the tunnel where he is being attacked by a sludge villain. Sludge villain. While Izuku is walking underneath the bridge, he stepped into some form of a ghoul. This ghoul is unable to take off him because the sludge whisker attached onto his leg, and it began to crawl going up. Deku freaks out, trying to scrape off the slime or the sludge off of his shoes. Eventually, he was able to take it out his shoes off because he couldn't take the sludge off. He was about to walk away. Then he heard something. Kid, give me your body. Isuku turns around in fear because he can feel like a type of bloodlust eating off him. Isuku turns around to see the sludge villain, and the sludge villain says, "Kid, give me your body. I didn't know the freak was in town today." Izuku says, Izuku Izuku is scared, so he couldn't answer, and he says, "Well then, I take that as a yes." He jumps onto Izuku and attaches himself to Izuku, trying to basically go into his body. After he's struggling to get to basically survive because he feels the need to survive. Then after a while he passes out and he wakes up in his mindscape where he sees Gogeta. Now give him a description because you can see it already. Izuku looks at him and says, "Who are you? And where am I?" He says, "Well, kid, basically I'm your reincarnation. I am one of the most powerful person in my universe. Well, technically I'm a fusion. And well, my name is Gogeta. For where you are, you're basically in your mindscape. You were supposed to come here a long time ago, but you never really got near to death in order to come here. But since now you are finally able to almost near death, you basically got here." He says, "So am I dead?" He says, "No. Well, you're about to, but no, you're not dead. Right here, right now, it's like 1 second outside. Even though we're in here talking for so long." Yeah, so he basically explains to Izuku. He says, "Izuku, I know that this may take a lot out of you, but you have something. You possess something. It's called ki, and I need you to release it out of your body." Deku asks what is ki, and he basically explains it, and he says, "Let the ki flow out," and he sent Deku right back. With Deku, he just released all of his ki at once, blasting off the sludge villain off him, putting a strain on his body. The sludge villain is knocked out. When All Might pops out of the sewers, he says, "I am here." He looks to where Izuku is and sees a passed out Izuku. He looks around to see a splat out sludge all over the walls, on top of him, all around. He's wondering, wow, this kid seems very powerful. Oh well. He then packs up all the sludge in a big coke bottle that he had. He then went over to Izuku and began to gently slap him on the face, trying to wake him up, just as he did in the beginning anyways. After some time, after a couple minutes, Deku wakes up, but with strain on his body. He felt like there were a ton of weights on his body. Just because he wasn't really used to ki, and it was the first time he used it. But since he was in a life situation, he ended up using way too much than he's supposed to. Gogeta in his mindscape was thinking like he kinda used way too much ki than he's supposed to. But I was surprised that the ki didn't do much to it, besides some putting strain on his body. So Deku didn't bother jump down to All Might because Gogeta told him that once you escape from the sludge villain, I will train you to achieve your goals. In fact, I will make you the most powerful person in this universe. So Deku says, "Alright," and he goes to work. Well, what I mean by work, he works in a bar. He works his part time, and everyone in the bar really respects Izuku. Unlike his home and at work and school, I mean, Izuku is treated well fairly. He gets his pay. Inko basically, oh sorry about that. Inko basically became lazy and and addict and addicted to drugs, alcohol. Every day, once Izuku comes from work, she always asks for the money that Izuku earned. Izuku, on this day, Izuku decides that enough is enough. He then says, when he gets home, Inko had a beer bottle in her hands, and says, "You finally back from work," and struggling to stand up and says, "Now give me your money, brat. Give me the money that you worked for." Izuku says no to her. She was shocked to see that Izuku actually said no to her. She then says, "What did he say, brat," while hardly being able to see straight. She then took the bottle swing at Izuku, but Izuku dodged it due to her being basically doing the same movements over and over. So Izuku was able to study her and know every attack that she was about to do. So Inko was swinging the bottle at him left, right, and right, up and down. Izuku easily was able to dodge all of them, knowing where the bottles are going to attack him at. He then, right after Inko made through try to hit him again, she accidentally slips the bottle out of her hands, which the bottle was sent in the door and burst. Izuku took this as a chance and punches Inko in the face, sending her into the wall. And he was thinking, wow, I got more stronger. And he started feeling more confident in himself now. Because he finally was able to stood up to one of his problems. He didn't went to his bed because he knows that Inko is gonna cook for him. So he already ate when he was at the bar. And he went to sleep. Now in his mind, Gogeta pulls him into the mindscape and says, "Well, Izuku, now it's time for me to train you." Izuku says, "But I wanted to sleep." He says, "Well, in here you are asleep. Well, outside you're asleep, but in here you're awake. Once you come out of your mindscape, you'll be full of energy, just like how you were sleeping. You'll be fully recharged. Just like you're gonna train, and your physical body will increase. Well, due to me being the most powerful person, you're gonna take a very long time. So prepare to feel hell. Prepare to feel hell." So Izuku is training for a whole night. For the 12 hours he was asleep for. It was like, how should I put it? He's been training for 12 years, basically. 12 hours, 12 years training his butt off. So once he comes out of my skill, Goku says, once you're done, anytime you want to, whenever you're at a safe place, a safe location, and you're in a break or something, come into your mindscape and we continue training. Izuku nods saying yes, and Izuku wakes up to the alarm going off. Izuku then had to go back to school because he couldn't really go. He still had to go to school. He went to school and yeah, although he finished school, he goes to basically a weight store where they sell exercise, or wherever they sell material to exercise. Izuku then bought some weights for to train with because Gogeta told him to buy some weights. He had a couple of good amount of money. He had around $500,000 in savings secretly from Inko. Inko didn't know about his savings, so she was surprised that Izuku came back home with weights. He bought the weights in wristband and weighted clothes, which cost him $100,000 yen, whatever. So he puts them on underneath his uniform uh, where he wears to school. These were around 100 pounds. You know what? 150, because Gogeta wants him to become strong, fast as possible. Now, Izuku at school, all things went down. Same as how in Kenny where Amaya was training Izuku and he had to do the weight thing and train all the way up to US grade. To UA, I mean. He then was walking home to where he was walked past and he saw, basically he was walking around. He saw this beach. It was filled with trash. Trash all over the area. Izuku then thinks this would be a good way to train. Gogeta says, yes, that will be perfect enough for you to train, to at least have a good amount of ki. Now, I'm gonna boost those weights on your hand. Well, to make it more impossible for you to move. Those weights are on your body, I meant. Izuku then says, are you nuts? I can't manage that amount of weight. He says, well, you're my reincarnation and I need you to be as strong as possible. So Izuku had agreed to it. They began the training. Hold on, guys. Okay, I'm back. So, yeah, everything went down. He trained. He claimed the whole beach and the rest of the remaining of the same. No, sorry. Brown made only the stretch of time on the UA entrance exam. It was actually 1 year 2 months. So Izuku had to start his training. He trained. He started doing the weights. Basically moving around the weights. Inko was gonna get suspicious of Izuku because when Izuku is going out, he always told Inko where he is going, but this time he didn't tell her nothing. He just up and left. Every early morning, comes home, gets ready for school, and leave. Sometime not coming home to have his clothes ready and just leave once he's finished training. So Inko decided not to pay much of attention because he's just thinking that, I don't know, she's thinking whatever. So yeah, we time skip to 12 months later. Sorry, yeah, 1 year later, as you can already know, Izuku already clean the beaches, and by now he has on 1.5 ton on his body. That may be too much, maybe too little, but still, that's the training he got. So he's been pushing around and moving garbage. This time there was some form of truck on the beach that does not have wheels or anything for it to go down there. So Izuku, this time that thing was inside of the water. So Izuku had to basically pull that out. And Gogeta been trying to teach Izuku about it. Trying to make Izuku lift it. So Izuku had to pull that out of the water that contains a whole lot of water. It was basically full with water. So Izuku had to pull it out. So he goes into the water, into the sea water, and had to pull it out. Basically tie ropes to it and pull it out. So after he finished with that, he had to basically flip it over and over and over to build his muscles. So yeah, Izuku went through hell of a training. In his and after he finished all his training, he has to do meditation where he goes into his mindscape, training with Gogeta, and after that he goes home, goes to sleep, training with Gogeta again. He does this for the period of the whole year. Only 2 months remained. Gogeta tells him that this time we're going to teach you about hand-to-hand combat. So he pulls him into his mindscape. Izuku closes his door and lays on his bed, meditate, lays on his bed, goes into his mindscape. Because he figured out that he does not need to get into a meditative position in order to go into his mindscape. So Gogeta taught him how to combat, some of his techniques, builds up his ki more. In this period of time, Izuku, due to the abuse of Inko and how his classmate treats him, he was able to tap into Super Saiyan. So basically, Gogeta was training him until surpassing his limits. So he noticed that how his mom actually treats him more worse than how she previously did. This allows Izuku to tap into Super Saiyan 2, but Inko doesn't know about none of this. Gogeta is surprised to see how powerful Izuku got now. He's like, yeah, I'm impressed. I'm impressed. He began to start training Izuku way more intensely. This time he improves the time in the mindscape. He improved it to 1 minute or equal to 10 years? No, 1 hour, 10 years. That's how much he improves it in his mindscape. So he had to train vigorously with Gogeta, intensely. So due to Izuku being around Gogeta, and Gogeta has God Ki, his body began to absorb some of the God Ki. By now you get told that Izuku is already the same because I said he's a reincarnation. So during he beside Gogeta a lot, he began to observe God Ki, some of the God Ki. And due to Izuku being kind of a, like, how should I put it, being reincarnation and absorbing more God Ki, his Super Saiyan God is a lot more different. He even unlocks Super Saiyan roles. See what I mean? Yeah, so that's what's going on. So we just landscape for the next 2 months has passed. This day it's time for Izuku to go to the basically UA entrance exam. Before we continue Izuku, let's skip to someone's perspective. Let's say after Zeno erased future timeline of Goku Black, of Chunks actually. After he erases it, and after being defeated by mortals, his rage and anger was so immense that he ended up being reincarnated as someone else. So when he's in his mindscape, when he's in the mindscape, he was surprised to see that he ended up being reincarnated. But how? No one made a wish. So he's looking around, wondering what's going on. Where is he? But quickly enough, he realizes that he's in a mindscape. So he's like, then this mindscape is so dark. Let's line up this place. So he basically redecorate the person's mindscape, making it look like Universe 10, um in the words of Kai. Basically know that this is Zamasu or Goku Black. Should I say that? So he's looking through and seeing how this kid has something that is called quirk. He ended up gathering the information about what is quirks and who was the first person about quirks. Basically getting details. It is interesting. So these mortals are something called quirks. Well, this kid doesn't seem that good enough to be my reincarnation. So might as well, when he had become angry enough to use my power, I have to basically take control over his body. So I'm basically pulling a fast Naruto Kurama. Yeah. So basically, if the kid is a reincarnation of that's too angry, Goku Black will take over his body. The kid doesn't know about his powers as yet. Basically know that he has a quirk, but doesn't know that he's a reincarnation of someone else. Because he didn't show no form of sign of other powers. So we can skip for him as well. He is it's basically the same day after UA entrance exam. He also is entering UA. But this time, but doing this, Goku Black has already taken full control of his body. Because the kid already got too angry already, and Goku Black just took the opportunity and took control over his body completely. So the kid is no longer in control of his body, but Goku Black. So yeah, he basically say that he's going to UA, even though he doesn't want to be a hero. No, scratch that. He doesn't go to UA. In fact, he, in fact, he much found the League of Villains and joined them. Yeah, so somebody at least rival him somewhat. Well, alright, so we keep going, guys. How long has this been going on? Oh, damn, that's long. So, yeah, they now we skip what Izuku perspective. He's walking through the gate, but once he walked through the gate, he felt like something is going to go wrong sooner or later. Gogeta inside of his body senses it as it's Goku Black has been reincarnated. With a surprise, looks like I'm going to throw this kid in more intensely to be Goku Black. Huh. Or should I say Zamasu? Zamasu. Whatever. So, Izuku didn't really pay attention to it, but he just left the feeling alone. He's walking in as he trips on a rock, same way how he did in Ken. Or actually, he trips on his own leg, because Deku didn't trip on no rock, it was his leg. Izuku trips on his leg, but before he could fall, he just floats. And he just flies up and began to walk again. Where he turns around to see a brown haired girl. Not this camera, basically Ochako. He sees Ochako was about to help him, so he approaches her and says, thanks for your assistance, at least, but you didn't really need to do that. But still, thank you. With that, he just leaves Oraka there. Oraka began to feel begin to have feelings for Izuku, saying that seeing that he's kind of hot. But she immediately erases thoughts and goes in to do the to do the test. Now we skip to the test, the written exam. Professor Mike walked in and he says, "Are you guys ready?" No one answered. Complete silence. And he says, so yeah, so what he said in Kenan. I don't want to get into that. So everyone did their test. Izuku being smart because Gogeta was like, Izuku was study. Whenever he's not training or doing work, it's study. So Izuku's not stupid, not one bit. So yeah, he's been studying and he finishes the test in 30 minutes. He just closes his eyes and meditate. Not really want to disturb no one. But Sonic ripoff at the sees that. Oh, sorry. So he immediately after he sees Izuku's eyes was closed and his head was down, he immediately puts up his hands in the air and President Man says, "You blue hair boy, what is it?" He says that he turns on and points to Izuku and says, "That boy is sleeping. That kid is sleeping in the entrance exam." Izuku, after not really paying attention to this, he says, he didn't say nothing. He says, Iya gets up, walks Izuku and says, "You get up." Izuku open one of his eyes to see Ida, or should I say, Sonic ripoff. Oh yeah. So he says, "You, if you're not taking this exam seriously, I suggest you leave." Izuku then sits up and says, "When did you become the teacher of? When did you become the teacher?" And Ida says, Ida doesn't say nothing. He says, "That's what I thought. You're not a teacher, so go sit down, do your exam. You can bet that you didn't finish." And Ida says that, "I bet you didn't finish either." Izuku says, "I already finished my exam. And I already double checked it. it." But Ida shuts up and goes to his seat, sits down, and continues writing the exam. Mr. Mike says, "Izuku, number whatever. Come and pass me a paper since you have already finished it." He comes down and gives Mr. Mike a paper. Mr. Mike began to look through it because I don't know, should I make Mr. Mike an idiot? No. So he says, perfect score. Not really perfect. You got 95%. But he didn't say it out loud. He just thinking in his head. So he puts down the paper, puts something to hold it down, or should I say paper, stamp, whatever. So yeah, everyone finished their test, and basically President Mike began to explain about the other exam. After he reaches the third and finishes explaining the third, he says, "Does anyone else has any questions?" Where Ida would put up his hands and says, "Same crap he said in the canon. I'm not getting into that. That's too long and too boring. I know it's supposed to be society boring already. Boring. So, yeah, everything was the same as in canon, but this time Equity approaches Uraka. In fact, he was stretching. When Prison Mike says, before Prison Mike could start counting, Prison Mike says 3, Why is it three? Izuku flies up in the air, puts his hands together, and pulls it back. And he begins saying the words Ka Me Ha Me, while holding it in his hands. And Prison Mike says, 2, 1. Izuku then lets out the power beam out of his hands. Before the gates open, so no one got to run inside. As as he releases it destroyed the entire city completely. But due to the gate, the students were safe, and teachers were dumbfounded. It's like, what? He destroyed this whole city with only one attack. Impressive. Impressive. Aizawa says that looks ISS locates him for powerful. Was thinking to himself. But he comes out of thinking and goes to sleep. Now, Izuku says, now I'm finished. And he's about to fly off. Go home. Izuku might shout out, where are you going, kid? Izuku then turns around and says, isn't the exam over already? He says, well, yes. And he says, and I already defeated the area. So that clearly says that I pass. He says, well, alright then. So Izuku flies off, goes home. So knows your point of crushing Uraka for now. So President says, all of you have to come back tomorrow, so that you can redo the exam. So they all says, oh man, and they all leave. So the students are bummed out because they didn't get to get any points. So Izuku he went home. Ain goes to the gate, goes through the house where Inko sees him and says, Brat, where were you? Izuku says nothing about your business, Inko. And he just walks off, shuts the door behind him, and goes back to meditating. He goes to his mindscape, but he just decides to train more. For the entire time, Inko been silent regretting her decisions, thinking about how she actually treated Izuku. She never treated Izuku with love, and Izuku started to develop hatred towards her. She really wanted that, even though she treated him like trash. She was the first one who hated him. But Inko shuts down and says, who cares anyway? It's like he's a corporate and he's basically useless to me anyways. Now we time skip. A week later. A mail arrives in Midoriya household area. Inko walks up to see a letter from UA, and she's like, UA? And she looks down to see that it's to Izuku Midoriya. And she says, Brat, a letter is here. Izuku runs downstairs and grabs the letter out of her hands and heads back up to his room. Inko goes near and basically eavesdrop on him. Hearing that he actually got into UA, he actually blowed up the entire city, and he has beaten the UA record, and he's still no more student. He informed him about his class. Inko was shocked to the core, seeing that her son actually has a quirk. So after that, the message exploded. Izuku was about to go to his bed to start meditating again, but he hears a knock on his door. He goes and opens it, where he sees Inko. Inko immediately hugs him and says, "Congratulations! Izuku then pushes her up and says, "What do you want?" And she says, what do you mean?" And says, whenever we try to do, whenever we try anything, you always want something. What do you want?" He says, "I can't hug my son." He says, day that you the day that you found out I was quirkless, and you told me to call you Miss Midoriya, I was no longer your son. In fact, you're nothing. You're just a person who I know I have to live with. That's all we are." And he just leaves, slams the door in her face, and goes to his meditative position. And goes at his door, crying. After some time, she ends up leaving. Izuku in his mindscape training with Gogeta. In time, Gogeta realizes that Izuku is no longer a kid. In these few years, he's been training Izuku. Okay, in these years, he's been training Izuku. Izuku has become very powerful. He wasn't expecting this much from Izuku, but still, Izuku was very powerful. Izuku trained like hell. I mean, so Izuku found out that it was 2 days. Izuku already knows it's 2 days, so he spent in his room 2 days training with Gogeta to the point that he had to wake up due to hunger. He goes downstairs and cooks himself a meal. But before he could start cooking, Inko had already placed food on the table, saying that this is for you, Izuku. She says that I have went out to the shopping, to do some shopping. I'll be back later. Here's a breakfast, son. Izuku didn't, as Izuku saw later, he just immediately stops what he's doing, and then he pushes the food aside and began to cook his own food. He ate it and goes back to his room and goes to his meditative position, where he goes into his mindscape and begins to train with Gogeta. By far, we know that Gogeta is actually powerful than Izuku, so yeah. In fact, Gogeta was teaching him how to control his God transformation and teach him how to fuse Super Saiyan God with Super Saiyan, get the Super Saiyan Blue. That's all the training he was doing for now. So yeah, he's been trained like hell. Now we time skip. 2 days later, he was walking to UA. Inko says, Izuku. Izuku stops and turns around and says, "What is it, Inko?" Inko says, "Good luck on your first day." And hope you good, Izuku. And Izuku turns and says, yeah. And he says, "Before you go," he takes out a suit that she remembers Izuku had, that only he wanted to be a hero. A hero reacts almost similar to Almai's suit. Some of the suit that he had in Kennen. Izuku then looks at it and says, "I don't want it." And he just leaves. Inko then bursts out in tears and starts apologizing, saying, I'm sorry that I wasn't a good mother." So, all things went like that. Izuku's at school. He's walking to school, and he was walking through the gates, where he sees most of the students that was participating in his exam were also there, and they had the look on their face, saying that we're just jealous of you for your power. We're jealous of you. Izuku didn't pay attention to them, and he goes to class, where as he walks in, he immediately senses Aizawa. Where he walks to where the what's it called again? There where Aizawa stands, and he begins to start teach around the counter, like thinking like that. He goes around there, see Aizawa hitched up underneath it, sleeping. He bends down and says, "Hey, wake up." Aizawa looks and says, Huh? So you managed to find me. How? He says, well, I just sent you were here. And he says, what do you mean by sense? He says, you figure it out your time. So Isaac comes out of the same bag. Comes out from what he was whatever he was doing, and he says, alright, problem children. Today you guys will be doing a quirk apprehension exam. And Ina says another exam. But sir, we already did the UA Intrix exam. This is an exercise for training to become heroes still. So get outside and we could be and change. Uraka comes out with an excuse, but Izuku just leaves, going into the change room and begins to start changing. Kishima follows Izuku along with Denki and some other students. So they all change and they are outside waiting. Well, outside wait for the class to reach. After the classes have arrived, Ashoda says, well, you guys will be teaming up with class 1B on this exam. You guys will be also doing a 1v1. So, yeah. They did the exam, and Izuku, knowing Izuku, he gets first and everything. The ball, infinity, yeah, surpass EA like 10 times over and over and over. Just in base, I mean. You can destroy the thing that for All Might. I read for All Might for the student, he just destroyed that thing. They even got All Might one out, and he dented it so much that it couldn't work anymore. No, it's a 1v1. Shoda says, Izuku, you're gonna fight. And Vad King comes and says, you're gonna fight Monoma. Since Monoma was like one of our strongest students, not the strongest, but he has his use. And is Monoma got on stage where he's about to fight against Izuku. Alright. So Monoma charges at Izuku. Shouldn't touch him with all 5 fingers. Izuku, I just touch him. Izuku easily dodges all of his. Basically dodge him. And when he's about to throw a punch, Izuku catches it with his pinky, saying that you're weak. And he punches Monoma in his guts. Monoma ends up passing out due to the impact of the punch. Should I do an escape? So, alright. Everyone fought, and class 1A come on top. Um, the same was Mina versus the middle dude. I think T something dude, middle dude in class 1B. That's the dude. I don't remember his name. I don't want to say shit up either. No, he's time skip. To yeah, it's like a normal thing now. As they were in class, he could sense someone coming, and he says, "Everyone, shut up! Someone's coming. Someone is coming." After some while, the door flies open and says, "Coming through the door like a normal, coming through the door like a hero." He says, "That's not hero-like. That's like a madman trying to open the door for years." Alright. Oh.